But let's expand the conversation a little bit here and talk about your experience over the last several decades. And are there one or more of these investigations, evaluations that you've conducted, or maybe financial audits for that matter, that really stand out as you're looking back over your experience and time in this area?
Well, you know, there's always the routine work, and I think that's important. I think just to have, you know, an institutionalized mechanism in state government where auditing oversight is routine. But you asked me about ones that I really remember and stand out for any particular reason, and there are two. One was an investigation that I was asked to do early in the Pawlenty administration. There were very serious allegations being made about a settlement that the Commissioner of Commerce made with an insurance company. And the allegation was that there was what was characterized as a sweetheart deal in the settlement because this company had made a campaign contribution to the Pawlenty for Governor campaign. There was a lot of heated rhetoric and discussion around the Capitol. There were allegations from the then Attorney General toward the governor. And it appeared to many people that we just weren't really getting to the facts. There were a lot of allegations, a lot of rhetoric, but not a lot of facts. And so I was asked to use my authority and to investigate. And I was concerned because it was a very politically volatile situation. And one of the things that I have had to think about is that I do not want my office, the Office of the Legislative Auditor, to be misused. We do have significant authority. We can subpoena people, and we do. And so we can have a real impact on people's lives, particularly in the political environment. And so I do not want the office in any way to be used for a politically motivated investigation. And so what I decided to do was make sure that going in, we would have a mandate, so to speak, from all the parties on both sides of the aisle. So basically, I wrote myself a letter, and I said, Mr. Nobles, these issues have been raised. They haven't been settled. They need to be addressed. Would you please conduct an investigation and lay out the facts? And I wrote that letter to myself, and then at the bottom, I wanted the signatures of the Republicans in the Senate, the Democrats in the Senate, the leadership, and on the House as well. And I wanted the signature of the governor. And so I said, this is really important, getting into this investigation, that there's no perception that there's a political motivation. We'll deal with ensuring that the facts are laid out in the report in the end. But I think in this case, it's particularly important in the beginning that we establish that this is a bipartisan request, not politically motivated. So that's one that, always stands out as a significant experience of trying to protect the independence of the office in a way that I think is really important. And, you know, we are sort of this island of nonpartisan work in the midst of a very partisan environment. And so you really have to kind of learn how to navigate through that to protect the integrity and independence of the office. Quickly, another one that comes to mind is the Metro Gang Strike Force. There were serious allegations about that police organization, and I was actually asked by the Commissioner of Public Safety at the time to conduct an investigation. There was not any real political issue involved in that, but whenever you're going to investigate the police, you're taking on something that's a pretty serious matter. And we did that. We found some very serious problems. We actually turned over our report and our evidence to the FBI, who followed up on that investigation. There were prosecutions. So that was one that I remember very distinctly because I think that, you know, government has a lot of power to do a lot of things. And we always have to be very careful of how that power is used. But there's no organization in government that really has more power than the police. They have guns and badges that can be used for good, and they can be used for things that are inappropriate. And we found that, in fact, in that case, they were being used for things that were inappropriate. And as a result of our investigation, that unit of police force was shut down. Was something that frankly concerned me a great deal, because there's a real problem with gangs, and we need to have strong police presence to address that issue. So it wasn't with any great pleasure that I saw the consequence of that investigation, but I thought it was important that we ensure that the police powers were being used appropriately.